I am not sure what's going on with these pastors. Like, I would love to know the qualifications to be a pastor, because I feel like all the ones that I've been seeing lately are just racist white men, like, masquerading as a pastor. So there's this new pastor.
I've seen that video.
New to me, but he was on, and the reason that I found out about him is because he was saying Mom Donnie got elected, and women weren't even the most that voted, but he said women don't need the right to vote anymore.
I've seen that video.
He said, you don't need the right to vote. We need to go back to household votes. Women can't be trusted to vote. The man needs to have the voice, and they just need to go back to cooking and cleaning. And this is a pastor. I was like,
So there's a current wave of it's a wave, right? Because they've been had these pastors. It's called Christian nationalism. So a wave of Christian nationalism. Cult. Yeah, I mean, it's a subsect, right? So it's like, these people are basically white nationalists with Christian ideology. So they're like, hey, I remember there's one of them that said, hey, we'll allow black people in our church, but not their culture. Your culture can't come in our church.
I don't even know.
It's basically what he said. Right, exactly. So it's like
praise and worship.
They're basically racists.
The jumping.
They should just put the hood on. Like, just skip all the BS. Stop pretending that you God. Because again, it doesn't matter what religion you look at or read. None of the gods that anybody believes in that I've heard or read says to hurt people or think that you're over somebody or think that someone is less of a human. Like, did you see they're trying to argue about Kamala not being human now? Because in the Constitution it says black men are 1/4 of a man. So they're trying to argue some of her positions and say that she's technically not a human and her vote shouldn't count.
That's crazy. I haven't seen that.
So
That's
it's
crazy.
so look it up. It's all over. So then, obviously TikTok. So then the next 50 videos are all black people saying we ain't paying no taxes, we don't need to do this, we don't need to do that. Because if we're not viewed as human, why are we doing any of this stuff? If you could take our vote and it doesn't count and you're arguing, to be on a political public platform and argue, you know what, we have nothing else to come at her. She's not human, she's an alien. What?
That's crazy work. Absolutely.
I mean, we called it when your president allows for misinformation to be used as information, and then discredits real information or facts as misinformation. All information is valid, I guess. I mean, what do you do?
All
right?
opinions, because not information. It's just people saying stuff. It sounds good.
So he gave people the power to pick and choose, and so that's what happens. You have people who are out here just saying shit. And just looking for followers to believe in it. So
I watched that show you guys always tell me, or the movie, what was it, Idiocracy?
Yeah.
Yes, I felt like I was in real life. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is right now.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. I don't get it. But I was really excited to see Mom Donnie and all the think pieces with him. Mm-hmm. When him and Cuomo were going back and forth.
Yeah, Cuomo.
The way he dragged him for filth by just stating facts was so embarrassing. He was like, no, I've never been convicted of sexually assaulting 13 women and then spending $200 million in taxpayers' money or $20 million for fighting his legal battles, because I guess the city of New York has been paying.
I think so, yeah.
Who said that, Mom Donnie?
Yes, he went off. He listed 10 things, and then one of the women were in the audience who was being hushed by him. And I mean, the way he started the response, it just wasn't given. So I know he didn't have anything good to say. I was just like, good Lord. And the fact that he thought he was going to win, just like, woo.
I mean,
confidence of a white man is something.
I don't know.
The main part is because the Democratic Party was not pushing for Mom Donnie to win. They weren't. He was supposed to be the Democratic nominee, and they weren't pushing him, right?
So I sent it to you guys. You probably didn't have time to watch it, but this lady did a think piece on Mom Donnie and why he won, and I think she made really good points.
It's a white lady?
Yes.
Yeah. She's on the phone, right?
No.
Okay.
She basically was saying there was no reason for him to list points that the other party was going to drive because that gets him free publicity. Yes, I'm free Palestine. Yes, I am for LGBTQ rights. Yes, I am a socialist. So he was like, there's no reason that I need to focus on those things because they're going to push that out for me. Mm-hmm. Let me focus on an affordable New York. Let me focus on, I think there's a halal tax that they have. Let me focus on healthcare. Let me focus on daycare. Let me focus on affordability. So then people were able to say, you know what? Yes, he might be all of these things, but these are what the issues are now. And Trump did something similar. You know, he lied, but his premise was, I'm going to lower everything. I'm going to lower taxes. I'm going to lower food, gas, everything. Now, everything we've seen has gone up between 10 and 20, some 30%. But that's how Mom Donnie won.
Yeah. I mean, how he won specifically, on top of that, was a lot of his campaign was short. That's what they're saying. Like, he had a lot of his campaign running on shorts and quick. Like, hey, I'm going to freeze rent.
No one's watching a 10-minute anything.
I'm going to make bus rides free. Shit like that. Like, just straight up. You know what I mean? And then his opposition was actually, like you said, they're basically advertising for him. A lot of his policies and whatnot. The biggest thing for me, the first time I ever heard of Mom Donnie was the big Democratic debate where, you know, they had that panel of Democrats and they're like asking them all the same question. And it was the Israel thing. And everybody was like, yeah, I'm going to go to Israel. I thought that was the weirdest shit ever, where they was like, what are you guys going to do when you first get into office as mayor if you're elected? And they all say, I'm going to go to Israel. And that was like the weirdest shit. I'm like,
because
what?
everybody
and he was like, yeah, I'm
for
staying in
the
New York.
Jews.
He's like, all of them said they're going to Israel. And he was the only one that said, I'm going to be in New York. Like, why would I go to Israel? I mean, that's going to win automatically. To me, it's like, bro, what the fuck does Israel have to do with New York? Like,
and the amount of displaced people in New York and the amount of, like, just the home issues, it makes you question, like, we're sending all these resources somewhere else, not saying that that's not a big deal and what's going on, but we're funding Israel. Israel is fighting a country with no military. What do they need money for? Like, it's not given, like, where are the funds going? Like, you've bombed them several times, you've put cement in their water, you've done all the things. So where are these millions and millions of dollars going? Because again, you're just fighting somebody with nobody to fight. So what are we paying for?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like you're getting bombed back. Like,
No, yeah. I will say we got into it a little early. Because definitely we're going to talk more about MomDonnie, the Democrats, the government. Today is a politics episode if you guys haven't picked up on it. But welcome to the Bridge ATL. I'm your host, Ty. And with me as always, we have Kel.
Whoop.
And we have Ashley.
hello.
And we want to thank you all for tuning in, listening in, watching in, whatever you're doing. Thank you. We appreciate you all for liking, commenting, and subscribing to our videos, letting us know what you think in the comments down below. We're really trying to get into the whole commenting, talking with you guys. So we're going to spend more time talking with you. I know you guys already see Ashley all the time in the comments. So just keep doing that. Keep running them up. Share it with your friends. Tell your friends. Help them. We want to talk about getting educated in these things. And today's topic, like I said, is politics. You guys already kicked it off into MomDonnie. So, you know, we could kind of keep that going because his election was part of a bigger movement, right? The blue wave.
But
they're calling.
He looked like a damn hero to me. I ain't gonna lie. Like,
And he assembled the Avengers.
Yeah,
that
he going
all-female team.
I mean, you know, I think I told you yesterday. I said, you know, as a person who, mind you, this is New York. Literally, I want to say what 20. No, like, is it 20, 15 years? However many years after 9/11. I want to say 25, almost 25 years after 9/11.
Yeah.
This guy, he goes into a race saying off rip, I'm a Muslim Democratic Socialist. While socialism and being a socialist was coined a bad thing by Republicans it was vilified during Obama's run in his campaign. Even though he never claimed to be a socialist, they did try to label that on him. This guy says, "Fuck it, I am a socialist. I'm also a Muslim, and I'm not running from it." And he wins. You know what I'm saying? He wins as the mayor of New York. Like, that already itself is one of the craziest accomplishments, major accomplishments I've ever seen. But
for sure. Like, he did such a good job, and the way he ran his campaign, it was done so great. I do think I was interested to see him talk about being a socialist when Canada is actively failing right now and they're under socialism and they're so much in debt, and it's like, what do we do? Now, that's when it comes to question. It sounds good to say, okay, we're going to feed everybody. Okay, we're going to home everybody. Okay, everything is free. But at some point, something has to get paid for. Somebody has to pay these people somehow. So it's like, how do you differentiate giving everything away? Like, where's that bar?
I think his thing was, you know, New York has, I think it's the most expensive country, or just not country, but the most expensive city in the world, or something like that, or the top 5. And so if you his thing is, if you tax the rich a certain amount, socialism should balance out, particularly or at least whatever policies he goes into should
but
work
the
out.
amount, and that's where people like, okay, where's the cutoff? Because free healthcare for everyone, what does that look like? Or free daycare for everyone, like what does that look like? That's when it's kind of like, I feel like you have my capitalist side kind of comes out, because it's like, what do we have in place to make sure that people aren't just using this as a crutch? And I'm not saying like, you know, if you need help, you shouldn't get it. But like, at what point do we say, okay, you are 25 years old, you're able-bodied, and you're just not working, and you have 6 kids? Maybe a different approach needs to be had versus just free everything. So I'm curious to see how he handles the socialist side in a city that's so focused on me, money.
I think
money.
that's the world dynamic, right? Like, we want it to be more of a fair system where, you know, everybody puts in the work and whatnot, and that's the thing. People like to exploit the system on both sides, whether it's capitalism or if it's socialism. Somebody, you know, in the socialist society, of course, the people who are able will not be able because they're going to be taken care of anyway. But in the capitalist society, those who are at the top 1% are going to just take advantage of everything below them. So that's, like I said, that's the world dynamic. You really don't know what the true solution is when it comes to a system. You know what I'm saying? I work for everybody.
So I'm curious to see the balance. Like,
but the question
does he take the Mark
is,
Cuban approach and do the lower prescriptions, because then that brings everything down, plus free daycare, plus this? Because that I think would work, but I don't think things can just be completely free.
I think he's going to just tax the shit out the rich, honestly. I think he's just going to take a lot of their money out.
So with that being said, allegedly over 1 million people said that they were moving out if he won. So I'd be curious to see if they actually moved.
There's been clips about that. They've said that people have been, and mostly a lot of these wealthy people in New York have said for years that they're going to leave New York. They've never left New York.
Never.
Like, people say, "Why don't I leave my apartment?"
Yeah, they've never left.
1 million people. I'd be curious though if they all left.
How much they're being taxed isn't even going to fucking be noticeable in their bank accounts anyway. It never has been, and never. I don't think it ever will be unless we actually have some kind of democratic fucking dictator. You know what I'm saying? That they would be taxed so much that it makes sense.
You said democratic.
Yeah. Somebody who would actually enact.
Reaction
somebody who would actually absolutely rob. Like somebody who would actually like rob these rich people and take their money for real. But that's not the case. They're just taxing them a certain amount because obviously what they're doing. I mean, what they have been doing is using loopholes so they won't get taxed anyway.
Well, Elon's about to become allegedly the world's first trillionaire. So I'd be curious to see how that goes.
Which, by the way, I seen that shit. How fucked up does the world have to be that we have a fucking trillionaire? In 2025, where there's still world hunger.
We have people arguing. Did you see the world hunger commercials I sent you guys in Asia and in the other countries where they have Americans like begging for food? And they're talking about like food scarcity in the States has always been a thing. And I've always heard that the same way we have Feed the Children, other countries have Feed the Children in America. And it's wild to see all these things.
Trillionaire, like, I mean, it goes to the fact that we're able to just allow somebody in our country to be a trillionaire while still having.
Did you know he has Tesla-only tunnels where only a Tesla can drive through?
In California?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That it's literally, you're just
They have Tesla only. They're supposed to be tunnels they're building for everybody, but he has Tesla-only ones as of now, but they're supposed to be like an underground tunnel system to help people get from point A to B faster to mitigate the traffic and everything.
One car has an accident, that tunnel is screwed.
Yeah,
There's no windows.
So you can't drive. But if one of those automated systems fails, everybody down there is screwed.
And they've been failing. Waymo's been failing like hell, so it's like, well, how the hell is that going to work?
So,
the video I saw was creepy. You're just in a tunnel. There's no windows, nothing. You can kind of see, but it's a little dark, and it's just one way. And even if you had to open your doors, I'm not even sure how you could open it. Nope. Everybody would have to climb out of the window.
You stay in the vehicle the whole time. It pushes you from point A to point B, and then you get out, and then you're good to go. But, I think a lot of this comes down to a very interesting point, right? So with the blue wave, I mean, not just Mom Donnie's win. Like, his win is probably the biggest celebrated win right now for Democrats, for people who are left. And, I mean, with him being such a strong socialist, do you think this was like a reactionary vote? Like, everybody just said, this is enough with the Republicans?
Yeah.
Let's actually get out and let's... That
was absolutely the resounding answer to what's going on in the presidency and the administration. I mean, they tried. I mean, I get it. People want a certain change. They want to see something different. Joe Biden came in. You can say he didn't do much. You can say he did whatever. You know what I'm saying? If he was paying attention, he actually did some shit. But obviously, it wasn't enough. They want to see. They want to see it. They wanted to be seen.
But he was also playing cleanup. I don't think it was.
He is. Yeah.
I don't think they voted blue because they are sick of Republicans. I think they voted that way because they didn't have an option. Like Cuomo wasn't talking about doing anything for the people, and he made a lot of very out of touch conversations. Like I think he was arguing with Mom Donnie and was like, where do you live? Your house, you don't even own a house. My mortgage is, or I think he said his rent was $20,000 a month.
Yeah, he said Mom Donnie's rent was $2,200.
He was like, you're broke. Like you only pay $2,000. Like mine is $20,000 a month.
That was actually a very out of touch argument to make.
That's why they were all out of touch.
And doubled down and kept going. And I think people finally said, you know what? Okay, if we're not looking at this person and I'm just listening to what they're saying, this is my best option. Because clearly I already did this and now I see what's happening.
Well, yeah, not only that, I think Mom Donnie won like the most votes anybody's ever won in a mayoral election in the last 50 years.
Yeah,
it's like
he broke a bunch of records.
Yeah, and it once again, Muslim Democratic Socialist. Like in New York, I understand if it was in like LA or some shit, or even Miami or something like that, but in fucking New York to do this shit while Muslims were absolutely vilified. I'll never forget, I was in middle school during 9/11. Muslims after that day were probably seen as enemy number one. No matter what you're on, it's still a high level.
Right after he got elected, somebody had screamed something out and Trump was like ducking down, like trying to hide. It was Arabic. I can't remember the term, but it doesn't mean, it's like pray for you. Mm-hmm. Like it's not even anything bad. They screamed it out loud and Trump was like, I mean, it was the slowest reaction ever. I wish someone would have been doing something because, but no, it was like the slowest reaction and everybody came and it's like, it's very hypersensitive, but I also think that goes back to not being educated.
No, yeah.
It comes to that, and it's casual racism.
The pastor was arguing, saying that
at this point,
Mom Donnie doesn't care about women's rights because he's Muslim, and then said women don't need to be able to vote. So it's just like, I think people are finally waking up to see like, okay, let me actually listen to what this person of color or this woman is saying. Because his woman's team is amazing.
But not only that, it's like I said, once again, Trump, it's the fact that Trump allowed so many people to have more power in their voice. And so when they see Muslim and socialist, that doesn't matter anymore. It's like, we just don't care about his policies because, I mean, we did it for you. You a damn criminal in this bitch.
Literally.
So, I mean,
a felon.
We don't care what labels he got. Let's just see what he said he's going to do. If he says he's going to do that and it sounds like what we want, we're going to vote that nigga in because that's exactly what we did for you. You said you were going to do things that we wanted, so that's why we voted you in. So therefore, this guy said the same thing that we want, so we're going to vote him in as well. So I just
think we're in the era of people saying what they want, right?
Yeah.
Or saying how they feel. Mm-hmm. And nobody thinks about the next person. So all these people complaining that, or the people who are complaining that he's Muslim or he's socialist or having these, or that guy saying he doesn't care about women, it's just everybody's finally at their point where they're telling you the truth now. They're not hiding behind their words. They're actually telling you how they actually feel. So for that pastor to get up there and say that, that's crazy. But unfortunately, nowadays you expect that, right?
That's a platform for that now.
To your point earlier, there is no qualifications truly necessary to be a pastor besides having a congregation that wants to be led. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can go to pastor school and be ordained and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, that's just a dude who got up there and said what he wanted to say. And unfortunately, that's a thing that's in everywhere, not just like in the church, like it's everywhere.
I think it also goes to show how bad the economy is when people decide to stop being racist and listen. Because all the big issues, what really made people listen was the fact that people are broke. People don't have money. People are complaining. They're like, hey, I cannot afford to live in my city. This is where I was born and raised, and this is all I know, and I can't afford to be here. So now it has to be something to take me out of my comfort, because so often people were just putting their head in the ground and I'm just going the white way. Yeah. And now I feel like the economy and things are so bad. Like, do you know how bad the world has to be operating? This country has to be operating for racist people to elect, to your point, a brown Muslim in New York.
Yeah.
Like, it just goes to show. And I mean, it sucks to say, like, I'm glad this is happening, but I'm glad this is happening because now maybe we can realize how trivial being racist is, or how trivial it is to not say, okay, you're Muslim, okay, you're socialist, but you have this laundry list of things that I agree with, so I can vote for you. Because that's where we get stuck in this. Everybody wants to focus on the two nuanced things and not the list.
So do you think it was racist people flipping and not just more people themselves coming out to vote because his policies made more sense?
I think it's both.
I think it's a good mix, but I think it's more racist.
Do you think
it's really hard to get
a majority of Republicans are racist?
Yeah.
Or?
I think this country shows you that. Like right now I won't even say it's a Republican. Like right now, you telling me that you support Trump with your chest, you are racist. You are racist, you are sexist, you voted against your best interest if you're anything other than a white man.
With money.
Period.
With money. You gotta have some money. You gotta have some. The only way. You gotta
White people without money voted for him.
And that's why
I'm saying you're voting against your interest. If you don't have no money, if you're making less than $100,000 and you're voting like Republican, like something, you're tripping.
If you were a white man with money, you weren't voting.
Well, I was saying even if you're
without
poor,
money, if you're a white man without money, you're voting.
But if you have money, you're voting for your interest because it's keeping
hell yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not 100,000. It's you need to be making
Yeah,
half a million.
Yeah, facts.
Half a million or more.
Yeah.
If you're not making $500,000 or more, it doesn't make sense.
Facts.
So no, I do think more people came out to vote, but I don't think that's what moved the needle. What moved the needle was people that already vote. It's really hard to get people to actually sign up to vote, then show up to vote, then show up to vote again if there's runoffs or something like that. So no. And I'm not discrediting that he did get people there to vote. Mm-hmm. I think what made him win was the amount of people that flipped. Because yes, I may be a Republican. Yes, I may feel this way. I may think this way, but I'm broke and I want to be able to afford to live in my city. Mm-hmm. So I'm voting for my best interest because you're going to lower rent. You're going to make affordable healthcare. You're going to make sure that we have dumpsters and not rats. And you're going to make sure that my city is livable. So I don't care about your religion. I don't care about anything else. I'm going to use what I should have been using, common sense. Mm-hmm. And voted for your best interest because I know what people's personal beliefs play a role into things, but I can be friends with you regardless of your religion. Like, unless you're into something that just absolutely makes no sense and you're hurting children, I'm pretty sure we can figure it out. So, like, what you practice, what you believe, and you're not going to believe everything and you're not going to be 100% all the time. So now that people are getting over it, I'm hoping we're going to see a shift. A judge just dropped out so that he could speak out against Trump. I mean, make people broke. They'll wake up. They'll stop being racist.
If Kamala was in office, Mom Donnie does not get voted in. I guarantee it.
Because we wouldn't be in this situation.
We wouldn't be in this situation, but it also...
It is what you had said before. You had said this before. When Trump gets in, they're going to see some shit, and a lot of shit's going to change. And that is direct.
And they're starting to see it.
That is
they had to be broken down. Broken down.
It's not just Mom Donnie. Obviously, it's a Democratic sweep across the country in the last local elections. I mean, I think it's a governor in Virginia or something like that, or attorney general, somebody in Virginia, which was one of the major things. Prop 50 in California. In Georgia, they had elected two, public service?
Yeah.
People in Georgia, you know what I'm saying? Like these are seats that were held for over 30 years. Flipped to blue, you know what I'm saying? So
a judge that was elected during Reagan just stepped down.
Mm-hmm. So
that's an open seat.
So we're talking about, it's open seat to Trump. Trump is just gonna put another.
Trump's just gonna put one of his people in there, yeah.
But yeah,
so that's the unfortunate part.
It's one of those things
Mississippi. That was the one that surprised me.
Yeah.
Mississippi flipped. Like, do you know how bad things have to be?
Yeah, it's a direct, like I said, it's a direct consequence to what he's been doing. So,
I do think this will bring us back together, though.
I think it's
gonna build because now people are gonna. I feel like being racist has always been a low IQ thing because if you honestly get to it, you just don't like somebody because the way that they look. Because everything does not boil down to what they try to portray black people as. So every black person you meet is not the stereotype, just like every white person you meet isn't living in a trailer park and missing teeth. So it's like when you now decide to use your common sense, I feel like as a country and as a people, we're gonna be able to be together because now it's like, bro, I don't care what they look like. Like this is benefiting us. Why would you not do it? Mm-hmm. So now it's gonna be accountable. Like we're all dumping water out of the boat and you're pouring water in, you're the problem. So now I think we're going to start seeing more shifts and seeing more changes, and because Trump can act a fool, people are just speaking out. Like on the news, everywhere, it's less professionalism. It's basically like, no, bump that. I don't have to do this. And as we look crazy, he's sleeping on national news as they're talking about being fat and obese and dementia. He's knocked out. It's just showing us what's really going on.
Oh boy, slumped. He was slumped in there, man.
He was knocked out, and it was just like insult to injury. Like they're talking about being old, they're talking about dementia, weight loss, the importance of being healthy, and he's fat, old, and sleeping.
At the same time, somebody like passed out or some shit. Did somebody pass out like in that same exact like talk?
Oh, the other old guy who's been in office for forever and couldn't walk.
Yeah.
And he was getting like carried out. Yeah, I'm for, if you are able to work, I am all for it. I just don't think a man that can't stay awake for longer than 10 minutes needs to be in office, personally.
We need to implement that limit, that age limit.
What do you think it should be?
65?
No.
That's too old. That's retirement.
I'd say about 60, 65.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would say
but Bernie,
50 or 55.
Shout out Bernie, though. Like, I don't know. That's where the argument is like, okay,
Right.
There's some people with some kind of...
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie is a solid,
I think
very
he's
solid
too old,
individual.
too. I feel like you need to be at a certain age because you still need to be able... It's like the cool grandpa. Like, you need to be able to be aware of what's going on. And as fast as the world is moving, you can't... As we get older, we get complacent.
You need to take, like, a competency test as
Cognitive,
well?
Maybe, but I mean, like, think about, like, all these new sayings. I feel like my mom because I hear stuff and I'm like, what is... That whole 6'7" thing. Then when I found out what it is, I'm like, this is stupid. Like, I don't care. So I think we start to shut down and we stick with our bubble and if it's new and it makes sense, okay, AI, all right, how can I use this? I like this. Okay, these new sayings, I don't care. But you cannot run an entire country based on that. So that would be my thing. Like, you can live your life deciding and choosing what you pay attention to, but if you're running the country, you need to be ear to the ground. You need to be hip. You need to know what's going on, what's trending, what's happening, because if not, you fall behind. You're asleep. The man is asleep. Sleep or golfing. That's all we get.
We know all them boys asleep during this government shutdown because...
They were at Mar-a-Lago having a party. Wow.
For sure.
People, like, literally.
They're having, what they call it, Great Gatsby parties and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy to think that, like, and I forget who said it, but it was somebody famous recently, and I think it was Newsom, and he said, do you honestly think Trump is leaving? Like, do you really believe that he's going to leave this office? Why would he spend $300 million redoing something in his home to leave? That doesn't make sense. And Trump told us from the beginning that you will never have to vote again. And he keeps joking. Like, oh, if there's a shutdown, I can do whatever I want. Again, longest shutdown we've ever had. Ever.
As of currently, yeah.
And
What is it, 30?
We're at 39 days right now.
Guess who started the first longest shutdown?
He did.
Yeah, so
guess who also said that
two.
having a shutdown in the government means bad on the presidency?
Right.
He did.
So now it's just like the government shut down. He jokes about being able to have total power. He jokes about being able to do whatever he wants, and then he does it. And then everybody's shocked. So I am going to be surprised to see the divide in the country when it's Trump's cult versus legit politics. And I'm very scared to see how this is going to go.
Well, that's the thing. That's what they've been talking about is... What they've been talking about is... you've seen Marjorie Taylor Greene is already flipped. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. On that side already. So that's one part where her shit is...
There's somebody else in Georgia, too, that flipped, and they're pretending to run as a Democrat instead of a Republican.
So, yeah, so he's a lieutenant in government. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But, yeah, so the thing is with all of that, because of this blue wave... Republicans gotta kind of go in their best interest, because if you keep going for Trump and you see Trump is fucking up, what's going to happen is a lot of these Republicans are like, okay, you know what, I got to get away from him because he's going to lose.
Yeah, they're already doing it.
Midterms going to start. His endorsement might actually hurt mine.
But so you have the diehard ones that stormed the Capitol, that have been pardoned, that are now
that's MAGA.
Whatever, his cult. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, what is that going to look like when we're like, okay, you're done, you're out of office, we are overturning.
They're going to try to do it again.
Do what?
What they did last time when he got out of office. There's going to be something else. He's gonna dog whistle like he did, And there's going to be another thing because...
But where would they start? I don't think they can physically get him up out of that White House is what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm getting at.
They'll physically get him up out of there.
And that's what I'm saying. That's going to be the clash because he's going to call his people and...
What people he got?
His entire cult following. What do you mean?
I mean, we got the U.S. military.
His followings are starting to fall.
And he has part of the military. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a divide.
You haven't seen the movie?
I don't think the military really.
There's a movie called Civil War. I think you should watch it.
Okay.
It's very, very present to like what's happening right now, right? So essentially, the president in that movie ends up, and it's shot through the lens of a war photographer, but the backdrop is the president decides that he wants to eliminate the terms, and he basically creates a dictatorship. And what it does is it causes the United States to split into multiple different factions. But essentially, it's the Western faction, which is the people who were like, no, that's wrong, and the Eastern faction, which were like the military who were like, yeah, and then you have the lawless faction where the racists are just doing whatever. But what happens in that movie is the military does not go for that. Even with the high-ups telling them you got to follow what he says, the military does not go for that.
So that's what I'm saying in a sense that there's a divide.
He's doing that now. In the world, that would be absolutely crazy.
In real, like not even just politics, like in real life, the military is its own faction. At the end of the day, the generals really have all the power.
But it hasn't been treated like that, and that's why there's been issues. Like, I know you've seen the issues lately where military is being deployed on civilians, on U.S. civilians. Like, that's not supposed to happen, but it is.
I mean, I think if he
the people that aren't doing it and are saying no are getting fired. So when I say there's going to be a divide, I mean, it's literally going to be us versus them. And I think it's going to happen soon. Because, it's November, almost around Thanksgiving. I don't see this ending before Christmas. No, it's definitely going to go into the new year. And if it doesn't go into because the Republicans basically said, I'm not reopening until you do what I said. And the Democrats are saying no. Like, none of the Republicans showed up for the vote recently.
Yeah, I seen that, yeah. They weren't there for the talks.
Not one person showed up. Yeah. And you think this is just going to end? It's going to be a head-to-head. It has to.
So for the sake of the conversation, to kind of catch people up and like let them know where we are currently while we're filming this, it has been 39 days of a shutdown. And the shutdown originally started due to them voting against healthcare?
Yeah.
Like Obamacare, as they call it, free Medicaid?
Because it basically removes Obamacare.
Which Obamacare is Medicaid, Medicare. It's all the stuff that you get. The same way you didn't know EBT versus SNAP. Same thing. It is your health care. They want to take away your health care. Trump said take away your health care. Democrats said no. The government is shut down. No one is getting paid. They said, hey, we need to pay people. He said, no, you're not getting paid. They said, oh, you cannot not give people their food stamps. The money's already in here. They said yes. He said no. They don't need to eat. I'm building my ballroom. Let them eat cake. Like, it's very simple. And I don't know why people are so confused. I love that states are changing everything and saying, like, you will not receive your SNAP benefits until Trump reopens office. Like, several states have put that on their website because people are so confused. But then you get these other news outlets that are like, oh, tourism is down, this is down, this is down. The Democrats need to stop. And it's like, are you dense? Like, people are going hungry because they just want to play.
They're being told to say that.
No, it was in one of, like, my business news articles.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, like one of our gaming ones. And I was reading it and I was like, what? And they were talking about all the money that's being spent right now. And they were like, Nevada is losing on tourism and slots are down. A couple grand openings aren't going to work and da-da-da. And then it says the Democrats need to reopen.
Well, Nevada's red, isn't it?
I don't know what it is, but it's dumb. That's dumb. That's dumb. How do you say that full mouthful of what's going on and how bad it is?
It is dumb.
And then you blame it on the person that didn't do it. That's stupid.
I think every red state will have that kind of... They're going to blame it on Democrats. I mean...
And that's crazy. We are not shut down because the Democrats showed up to work. The Republicans did not.
If they have a red governor, a Republican governor, they will have...
Doesn't California, though?
No, California is super blue. Super blue.
It is?
The bluest.
Yeah.
The bluest.
It's one of the Democratic states for sure, yeah.
The Republicans hate California. Always have been. Always and forever.
I knew Gavin was cutting up, but I thought it was...
No, he was cutting up because they about all that.
About it.
Yeah, they with all that. They're a superpower. So it's like They had the actual money and the balls to do whatever the hell they want. You know what I'm saying? And yeah,
Hollywood
they're like
and all
Texas.
that, yeah.
Texas super red. They say all they shit too. You know what I'm saying? Like they go back at it. Prop 50 was literally and for people who don't know what Prop 50 was, Texas had created a law, basically a redistricting law, which allows for more Republican votes, Republican seats. I want to say as representatives in their state. So that allows more. When it comes to like the House of Representatives and whatnot, they get more red seats in the House of Representatives. California did the same thing for Democrats to have more Democratic seats, just as a counter to what Texas did. That's what Prop 50 was, and that's why Prop 50 was passed in the last elections. California and Texas usually go back at it. You know what I'm saying? They kind of hold the line for each party. It's kind of weird. It's crazy. Yeah. It's actually.
But they are the largest states, right?
Yeah. They're the biggest.
So I mean, it makes sense that the two largest states would be conflicting.
Yeah. Crazy. Texas, I actually like Texas, which is nuts. But
Texas is cool, but I mean, a lot of y'all voted against y'all best interest too.
They got some.
But I mean, that's
they got money. You know what I'm saying? The white boys got some money. They some of them definitely
old
vote for that
money
shit.
too.
It's very old money. They got gas money too. They got a lot.
Oil, gas, natural resources.
Like I said, I get it. If you're super rich, you got a lot of money. Of course, you're gonna vote. You know what I'm saying? Red. And that, like I said, my whole thing was always make sure you're voting for your best interest. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it is.
But is it your best interest if it's at the detriment of other people? Because that's when I kind of think you have to take a step back.
I think some people don't care. I ain't gonna say some. I think a lot of people don't care.
I think most people don't care.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
I think if people,
it's not.
I think if people,
if I say,
not.
do I save $10,000 a year that I can afford to lose, or do I let hundreds of thousands of kids go hungry?
It's not, because look, we're about to have a trillionaire, like you guys were just talking about earlier.
Yeah.
If there was truly a care for the other people,
that would never happen.
That would never happen.
I think there is a care. It's just the amount of people that care don't have the resources to do anything. So,
but
I care, but I don't make enough to make a dent.
To be honest, the people who don't care are benefiting from the fact that they don't care.
Right, like the prison that's suing the state because they haven't had enough inmates this year.
That's crazy. But do you guys, with this government shutdown, do you think there's anybody benefiting from this? I mean, it seems like nobody should benefit from this.
Trump's benefiting. They're still getting paid. They chilling. What do you mean?
Didn't they say weren't they trying to introduce something to stop them from being paid?
Yes, but they're getting paid and he has power to enact whatever he wants. So I guarantee a bunch of bills are being signed right now that we have no idea about just because he can. He was very clear that, hey, I have more power when the government is shut down than when the government's open. So this is definitely a part of their plan. They've told us every single thing that they were going to do, they've done. Told us about Project 2025. It's over 80% complete now. Now they're moving on to all the stuff to make sure, like, it's probably going to take 4 terms to fix the country, to get it semi-back. Because he's doing so much. It's scattered across so many different lands. You would technically have to act just like him and bypass a bunch of stuff to get it passed. So then it's like, are you any better? So no, he's benefiting. Very rich people are benefiting. I
mean, any country crisis, rich people will always benefit.
All his friends that he's telling how to vote, all the insider trading, people are benefiting. It's just not us.
Loan companies are eating right now because, I mean, how are people getting paid?
Did you see he wants to do a 50-year mortgage now?
No.
Yeah. That's his next thing, a 50-year mortgage, as if 30 wasn't long enough for you to try to pay off a house. And at this rate, it's like...
And then when that fails, and we hit another economic housing bubble...
But this is my thing. Our age group, we're in our 30s, right? Because now, parents love to brag about how great the world was and, $10,000 house, you can buy it, you're fine. $200 mortgage, love that for you. Realistically, for us to buy a house, that's not it.
That's dead.
It's dead. So we're in our 30s. Let's say if you try to get a house at 35 and you sign a 50-year mortgage, and most people don't live in one house forever. So you have one 50-year mortgage at 30. Like, how many people realistically are living past 80?
At this point, do these people really need this much money?
Like,
nobody needs that much money. There's nothing in this world that requires you to have that much money.
We've known that for years. I mean, like I said, once a billionaire is too much. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't see a problem with a billionaire. Like, I don't. I feel like if you work, like, and you do what you got to do and you make proper investments, make as much money as you want. Like, I don't care. Because if I was a billionaire and I worked my ass off and I did everything that I need to do, you are not going to come to me and tell me that I shouldn't have $1 billion.
Somebody's getting gypped if somebody's making $1 billion. Somebody's always losing.
So this right here is what we just talked about like a few seconds ago. The people who don't care about the next person.
Yeah.
You just said, I made $1 billion. You shouldn't tell me what I have to do with my money.
I didn't say what I have to do with my money. I said you should not be able to tell me that I cannot make $1 billion, is what I'm saying. So like Taylor Swift is a billionaire. I don't think what is she doing that's hurting anybody? Her music's not that great in my opinion, but she's not hurting anyone.
I mean, but like, let's think about how her music is not how she made $1 billion. I'm sure the money she made from her music
other things,
is her investments. And then when it comes to those investments are usually into companies that are on the backs of other people. Because you pay an investment group to manage your funds and to build
Correct,
them.
But what I'm saying is...
if she made it off of music strictly, just her singing, yeah, I get it. But
what I'm saying is I think that that's a very slippery slope to tell people what they can make and what they can't make and when it has to stop. My thing would be... put things in place. Maybe there's a rule that like once you make $1 billion, you have to donate X amount to a charity per year. Or
there's
to something.
For that,
but
I get what you're saying.
They need to pay their taxes.
Yeah. But in order to pay your taxes, they're
not paying their taxes. No billionaires are fully paying their full taxes. That's the whole thing.
But I also think it's hard to say because from the outside looking in, it's always easy to say like, oh, this person is a billionaire, or this person is this. How liquid are they actually? Like, do they actually have $1 billion, or does it sound good? Because your valuation and like what you should be valued at and what you have access to are very different. And I think we just hear these numbers and we're like, oh, like there was a tech, it was like the youngest self-made millionaire. She had a tech company and she was literally like, yeah, everybody thinks that like I just have $1 million and I don't. Like, it's not liquid. I have investments. I have this. I have that. Like, if I needed to sell everything and do everything, could I get it? Yes. But at penalties and at this and at this. So, again, those are bigger issues. On a smaller level, I think, yes, put things in place. If you make X amount, we take it. But then the argument is, okay, they pay their taxes. Now what? I paid taxes. I pay a lot of taxes. People in Georgia are now not getting their food stamps off the money that I paid. So is it the system that's the issue, or is it the money? So I'm a billionaire. I paid my taxes. There's still hungry people. Now what?
It's both.
Yeah.
It's both. The system and the money are both messed up. Because the people at the top with that large amount of money are able to benefit off of loopholes that have been created for them to benefit. So let's say if all billionaires paid the right amount of taxes that they were paying, that wouldn't allow the people who don't make billions to not pay as much as they already pay.
Mm-hmm.
But this country was never built on that.
It's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But that was
the original idea that it was started.
This country has always been a business. I've never seen.
What I'm saying is they originally said this is how it works, but the people at the top were like, I don't want it to work like that. And because they have the money, they can influence how it works. So it's like if I'm making $1 trillion and my $1 trillion is housed in the United States. All of my assets, my businesses run out of the United States, and the United States tells me, oh, well, you make $1 trillion, we need $500 million in, we need like $1 billion or $5 billion a year from you in taxes. I'll just take all my business elsewhere. And then that takes $1 trillion out of the economy for them because I'm moving my assets. But I also think that goes to...
We have bigger issues here. And I think it all comes down to money management and where is the money going? Because we always talk about these big, like, oh, if I need $1 billion, if I need this. That's what Trump is doing. Mm-hmm. Oh, I need $300 million for a ballroom. Boom, it's done. Like, I think we're policing the wrong...
You said how much?
$300 million.
Is it $300 million? Look,
isn't that what they said?
I can't be no 300. Like that's fucking crazy.
It was a lot.
It was
$300 million? A fucking ballroom?
Yeah.
A ballroom.
It was supposed to be $250 and then it went up to $300.
It might be $30.
Yeah, and you know what it is? It's definitely like maybe not embezzlement.
1,000%. Are you joking?
Embezzlement.
You don't think that any of those contractors that he owes in New York are getting some of that money?
So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The new ballroom at the White House is a construction project with an estimated cost of $300 million.
That's fucking crazy.
Funded entirely by private donations from individuals and corporations, not by taxpayers. This is a construction project,
and that's
not
how
a
it
public
works.
event or an attraction with a
They're buying
ticket
their way in.
price.
Y'all see, Qatar about to have their own Air Force base in the U.S. Nobody else, no other country has their own military anything in the U.S. other than Qatar because they get it.
Part of that private
free
donation
jet
fund.
And they now own, I think it was, they just bought back London. They own more property than the king right now.
Cool.
Qatar.
I mean, the king doesn't really have power anyway. The king, the royalties, like
Right, but I'm saying because
but
I'm saying we got to see reverse gentrification.
Yeah.
Like they now own more
they
property
own that,
in London than the king and queen.
But that's how it is. The people who run the world it's not the government. It's the people with the money.
The money.
Money talks, and that's always been true.
And so capitalism was always supposed to be top percent taxed. Should help fuel the foundation because the American dream is always as long as you work a job, good
but
on
I
the
feel
job.
like I always
fine.
hear that, and that's the trickle down effect, and that never works.
Never works. That's what I'm saying. And that's
Yeah,
why
the
I say.
American
And this is
dream
why I
was
say.
never-
And this is why I say because that doesn't work. A billionaire or a trillionaire should never exist because that doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? The money that they gain is not going where it's supposed to be.
I think it's bigger.
As it goes up, it's not coming down the correct way. So
but
something
you're
needs to
not
be
just
fixed.
people don't just make their money here. Like people make their money in other countries and other things. Like I could be a U.S. citizen and I could make money. I don't think it's
true.
But if you live here, if you are a citizen here, that money needs to be trickled. It needs to come here.
Why?
It should absolutely come here.
This is why I say I think the thought process that you have is the thought process that a lot of people have, and that's why nothing really is done.
Like imagine
if I worked my ass off and I made $1 billion on my own back,
right,
by building my own companies and all of that. Yeah, I'm gonna feel like I don't need to give my money to other people. But in order for society to
I'm not saying I wouldn't. You're not gonna tell me. That's my problem. You're not gonna tell me what to do with my money.
Even in that, though, if we want a proper society to function where the people on the bottom are the bedrock, the base for these companies to fuel, and people are living fine and people are eating, you have to. That's the only way. And if you're not doing it of your own volition, somebody has to tell you.
I don't do donations. I don't like taxes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like none of that. I need to see where my money is going. So no, I'm not gonna work my ass off, make $1 billion, and then you're gonna tell me how to spend my money. If I want to buy a school and build a school, I can do that. You're not going to correct me. If I want to do housing properly, I can do housing properly. Again, people suck. So you can have all these initiatives and all the things that you want to do. People are going to find a way to mess it up.
What if you do housing improperly? What if you build a terrible school?
What are you talking about?
Like let's say
you build a school.
Okay.
Let's say you do all of that. Like you say, okay, I'm gonna give my money out, but I'm gonna do it my way. What if every single way you did it was terrible? Like it didn't even work. Like it didn't do anything.
What do you mean? Like I find that really hard to believe that every single thing you would do would suck. So like
Trump?
if you're telling me, I mean, he never said he was doing anything for anybody.
Trump University?
He never said, why would you go to a university where teachers are not accredited? The university is not accredited.
Well, that's the thing.
It's made by a man, it's made by a man who does not have a degree and didn't go to college. So again, we got to use discernment. If you got because you got scammed, that's on you. Like, he made his money off of Trump University because idiots went to a school thinking they were going to learn from another idiot. The school is not accredited. At some point, you have to do your own research. That's like saying, I went out and, I don't know, I bought something that didn't work. Okay, you're doing stupid stuff.
But I'm saying, like, let's say if I had $1 billion, I can't make a school. I didn't go to college. You know what I'm saying? Well, I went to college, but I ain't finished. So it's like,
I ain't graduated.
It's like I have to give it to somebody who knows what they're doing.
So what I'm saying is like, okay,
I have to donate.
I'm gonna come find an area. We come downtown Atlanta. Where's the issue? Okay, the schools are outdated. They need to be rebuilt. Cool. I'm going to move all these kids to this building. I just bought it. They can learn here for a year. We're going to reconstruct this. It's donating a building. I'm not saying I have to run the school. I'm not saying, and I think that's where everything gets so nuanced because it's like, who's going to do this? I don't want that. You said we got problems. I said, let me fix them. What do you want the money for? New roads. Cool. Send me the contracts. I'll sign it and pay for it. New roads. Don't tell me you're building a road and it takes 10 years. Don't tell me you're building a school and the school's never been built. That's my issue. So if you're going to tell me what to do with my money and then I can't see it or do it, like if you're going to say, okay, Ashley is a billionaire. We should not have that many billionaires in the US. Get all of them together. Okay, what are y'all interested in? Okay, you're the billionaire group that's going to be economic development. You're the billionaire group that's going to be education. You're the billionaire group that's going to be nature. You're the tech group. And then separate the money that way.
I wouldn't even trust them to do that.
But what I'm saying is at least we can say this got done. I'm not doing it. Taxes
I just think Kel is right.
Tax.
Like nobody.
It ain't shit built.
I don't think anybody is meant to have that much money.
Yeah.
I just don't. I get where you're coming from.
It's the system, honestly, that doesn't make that sound good, and that's why. Because obviously, whoever the president is will fuck up those funds, regardless if they're taxed or not. So
why would I give my funds to just be messed up? Because you basically said, so you don't want me to work hard, you don't want me to be a billionaire because then I'm going to pay taxes and the taxes are bad, so I can't be rich because people are bad.
It's bad either way. Either way, it's bad anyway.
We're talking ideal situation. The government needs to be retooled. The businesses need to be retooled. The money needs to be retooled. All the economy stuff needs to be retooled.
Because at where it is currently, regardless, those who are not billionaires or even millionaires are getting fucked right now.
It's too much corruption.
It doesn't matter.
It's too much corruption.
It doesn't, like, either way. Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't have anybody in office that would even take that tax money and do right by people anyway.
No, they wouldn't. Because
so it doesn't matter.
As soon as they try, it's either, look, man, if you put that money here and you give me X amount of percent, you're good. You'll be able to stay in office, you're good. If you don't, we're going to have problems.
Because again,
and first they're going to get you in your job, and then if they can't get you in your job, they're going to make you disappear. And honestly, with the amount of money that we see in this world nowadays, I don't think anybody's untouchable.
And in an ideal system, like I said, what it's supposed to be is if you were a billionaire and you were taxed the correct amount, that money would help the foundation of this country. People wouldn't be as hungry. People would actually be able to afford houses, actually afford, rent.
The American dream would be real.
It would be real. But because of what it is right now, because it's not ideal, it doesn't work. Either way, I
don't even think taxes are the problem, though, because banks own more houses than anybody else.
Once again, same thing. When you have banks buy in and lobby for the ability to buy all these countries.
They're not for people. They're businesses.
They're businesses. Yeah, their investment.
They're just a business owned by a billionaire.
Facts.
So if you tax that billionaire with that bank,
look at Paramount and the merger.
But it's bigger than taxes. Like, we have 5 or 6 companies that own pretty much everything. Like, any industry you go in, you look up Nestlé and look at all the stuff that they own.
This is true. Yeah.
Yes,
we're moving. A lot of businesses are moving closer to a monopoly.
Yeah.
It's not moving towards. They are.
We see the film industry doing it, right?
All
Disney
of it.
owns damn near owns
Disney
everything.
going crazy.
Amazon's cleaning up too, though.
Yeah.
People aren't paying attention to Amazon. Netflix is trying to get up there.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers is now open for sale.
Yeah.
And Paramount, Netflix, Amazon, all of them are looking at buying Warner Brothers, which is just consolidating more and more into these
so when
businesses.
you say systems, so my thing wouldn't be the billionaires in that sense, because I think if the country operated the way that it needed to be, it would be harder to be a billionaire because things would be done proper. So if we weren't allowing companies to just swallow other companies so that only one person owns all of food and only one person owns all of entertainment, then we wouldn't have these issues.
Yeah, but that's where the whole trust busting and all that was supposed to come in, and it's kind of died down in these newer years. But
it's dying down because the people that own everything are telling people to stop.
It's because
that's
money.
what Laura Khan
everything.
wanted. Isn't that her name? Or
Lisa? Khan. Yeah, she was definitely trying to stop all that shit.
She was all for that. She wants transparency.
All that. She did not want monopoly. She was trying to get rid of all of that dumb shit.
And I don't care.
We're running towards it.
I guess I don't care if there's a monopoly as long as it's done properly. But I do think that there should be better options. So, I don't think that there should be one business that's selling us shitty food 5 different ways. I believe if you want to have a business and sell food, you shouldn't be forced to sell your business because it's getting swallowed by another one. But if you can acquire your business properly and they sell because they want to, go ahead.
I think the only way we can really fix that now is stronger regulation. And we just can't trust the regulation boards right now because the regulation boards are blocked.
We need a clean house. Everybody need to get fired. Everybody needs to get fired.
Yeah, we would need a reboot, but that would require that would be very difficult because, as I've said numerous times on this show, in order for us to operate ideally, we would need selfless people in office. And I mean truly selfless, I'm doing this for y'all, not for me. I'm president, not for the money. I'm president because I want this country to grow.
I remember they said the president didn't even get paid.
So the president definitely gets paid. Not $1 million. They get $600,000
So
a
again,
year or something like that.
How long do you guys think the shutdown's gonna last? I say it's gonna go into the new year.
I think it'll end in December.
Okay, what you think?
I don't think we're gonna go 60 days without a shutdown because we're already seeing effects.
I don't think so. So the Democrats proposed a 1-year extension of the health program, just until the next. You know what I'm saying? Just
in order to like kind of
let's just
ease over it.
Who they proposed that to? Because the Republicans didn't show up.
Exactly. So that's why I think it will last till next year.
So you're with me?
Yeah.
You think they're going? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because
they are digging their feet in the ground, and I hope it
lasts. They're not even trying to compromise on any level.
We're about to see a huge economic problem,
and I hope so because that's what it's going to take. So think
about
it.
Huge economic problem.
If we're shut down for Thanksgiving, we're shut down for Christmas. No presents, no big dinners. Some people haven't received a paycheck since October. So we have October, November, December, January. That's 4 months. I know people don't have the savings. Crime is going to start. People are already pushing back. That's what we're going to need to get him out of office.
Flights are getting shut down.
Flights are getting canceled.
Atlanta said they good.
Atlanta did, but
Atlanta said they're good. But I thought I saw they had flights canceled.
So the Delta. Let me say Delta's good.
Delta's good. Yeah.
Delta's good.
But slowly but surely, we're gonna see some real effects. I mean, we've already seen the EBT SNAP benefits cut off. Did
you see all the fake AI stuff they were doing?
Yeah, unfortunately. And I don't really...
The race bait is so just...
I don't condone that because I think of that as like low-tier racism.
It is.
And by low-tier racism,
I mean effort.
It's like no effort or whatever. They're trying to get a quick laugh. It feels like it's the racism you experience when you played video games with other 15-year-olds online.
I never experienced that.
Kel knows what I'm talking about. You're in the lobbies in Call of Duty. They just say, they call you the N-word, or they say, "Oh, go eat some fried chicken."
You know who raises these people?
It's like that's the kind of humor it is. Go eat fried chicken.
How's that
or
funny?
go get some watermelon.
So
that's not funny. It's incredibly corny and it's super low tier.
Go find your sister.
It's low effort racism. It's the most basic form of racism that people can perpetrate. And I think a lot of kids in their teenage years and their early adult years now, as it has reached to, think it's funny.
That should be a form of child endangerment.
What?
Raising your kid to be racist. Where they're that, as a child, they're
it's definitely
just
child neglect.
Calling people racist names and
that.
I feel like that obesity, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You just obesity, you don't care about your kid.
Obesity facts.
If you let your kid eat like that, that's crazy. But we're gonna see some serious serious backlash.
I think there's going to be...
This coming holiday season, it's going to be crazy.
So did you guys see, there's supposed to be a no spend. So they're trying to push buyers not to buy stuff for the holidays. And Sephora
They're not going to be able to.
So Sephora made a whole commercial basically laughing in everybody's face. Yeah, you said you're not going to buy stuff, but we'll see you. And just basically called the bluff.
So... I've seen it.
Really out of touch.
So, and I'm going to bring back the Sydney Sweeney conversation.
I was just going to say, because I was right. I was right. Y'all owe me an apology. I was right.
Let get into it.
Oh, what? Because she on TV
She said
crying?
what she said.
No, you didn't see it?
No, she
said. She doubled down.
I said what I said. I don't have nothing to correct.
Yeah.
If I have something to correct, then I'll talk about it.
She definitely doubled down, doggy. That's crazy. I was
and it is what it is.
You could really just, all she had to say, because the girl was basically saying, do you down white supremacy, right? And she was like, if I have anything bad to say, if I have anything to say, I'll just say it. And I don't think I have anything to say right now. I'm like, oh shit. What
she
the fuck?
said what she said. She said, I'm racist. I think I'm better than you, and I am.
We're going to see what she got a new movie coming out. We're going to see if they're going to go see it. So
I'm curious to see how it's going to work.
I think she done, though. I ain't going to lie. That kind of fucked her up bad. I ain't going to lie. I
don't think so, because it's Nikki liking Donald Trump's tweets.
Nikki been down, though.
It'll affect her.
Yeah,
but she got a loyal fan base.
I think it'll affect.
It's like going to see, I would still see R. Kelly if he was out of jail. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. I mean, you know what I mean?
I get you.
You feel me?
So I
get you.
I think her issue will be with Euphoria if Zendaya says she doesn't want to work with her.
Oh, they're not coming back for season 3 anyway.
Oh, yeah, there is.
No, they're not.
They're supposed to.
No, they're not.
They're filming.
They said season 3 is a completely different cast.
For real?
Yeah.
That's over with. Nobody watching that shit. There ain't no way. You for real?
Let's see.
No, I thought I seen her.
Because they asked Zendaya to do a press tour with her to help, promote something.
No, she not doing nothing with her, though.
And Zendaya was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, she's not doing nothing with her though.
But no, I saw that they're bringing a completely new. Zendaya's not supposed to come back.
Zendaya will return as Rue in Euphoria season 3, which is currently in production, expected to premiere spring of 2026. The new season will feature a time jump to a new film style. Through Stormy Reed and Barbie, Fiera will not be returning.
Yeah, Stormy's not coming back.
But no, I heard that they're working. She's not messing with her. But I'd be curious after this interview. But I do see Zendaya reportedly refused to promote Euphoria season 3 with Sydney Sweeney. This is where the riff is going to be. And if Euphoria sides with Sydney, I feel like they're basically saying what she did was fine. And if they side with Zendaya, they'll get some pushback. But I think this show will be a hit per usual. Because I don't think her character will be... I haven't seen the show in a while, but I feel like they'd be able to write her character out after all the drama.
I don't think season 3 is going to be worth a damn anyway.
No.
It's been so long since the show has been come back, and like
they got cast members that have died, people that look a lot older. I think it's hard.
Well, that, and I think people realize the guy who writes it is not as good as everybody was thinking he was. So, because I think he did that weekend show that was.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Damn, it's tough.
I mean, that was the weekend show, but I think he was a producer on it or something like that. But it's like, just how like people look at Jordan Peele now. They're like, oh, him wasn't a hit. So now we're looking at you like, I don't know. But
I heard him was good.
You ain't seen it?
Mm-mm. When I saw the previews, I didn't think that was for me.
It could have been. It could have been.
What pissed me off is the new It's Dairy. I can't watch it. I feel like because it's too close to home. I don't want to see that.
Well, because of the racism in it?
All the racism. I just feel like I'm just watching the news.
It's not even that bad.
Yes, it is.
It's really not.
I tried to watch the last episode the other day, and I felt so heavy after. I was like, yeah, I can't watch this.
I ain't watched none of the It movies, so.
It was pretty
It felt so heavy.
I don't know. Maybe you're sensitive to it. Maybe it just drags you down. I don't know. It didn't seem that.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder why I'm sensitive to them actively accusing a black man of killing these children that he didn't do.
Much worse
in today's society.
Like, that's the town. Like that's part of the story,
Yeah, I don't watch stuff like that.
That is part of the story. Originally, when Stephen King made the original It, like racism was a part of it. A lot of his stuff.
Timepieces, that's fine, but
his stuff is highlighting the bad. Like it's not like a glorifying racism. It's always going to be like we're highlighting this because this. It's
definitely true to the time, but I don't want to see that. I'm living it right now. I thought I was going to be scared with some supernatural stuff, not real life.
Understandable, but yeah, that's just how that works. I think it's interesting so far. So
the amount of celebrities and businesses that are catching strays due to the political climate is very interesting. Because, think about Euphoria now. Now they're in, a toss-up because they have actors that don't want to work together. They have actors whose extracurriculars are causing issues. It's like this, to the point earlier, it's really going to be divided the next couple of months.
I've also heard that she's not allowed to really talk about that commercial, contractually, so...
And that could be part of it, but at this point, you kind of got to say fuck a contract.
Panders. She panders.
At this point, she's gonna come out in a couple of weeks, and because her movie is bombing.
It is
the boxing movie.
Yeah,
it's bombing.
I didn't even know she had a boxing movie.
And honestly, that shit was. I thought it was
gonna be good.
Yeah,
because it was supposed to be her. It was like how The Rock did his movie.
Yeah, facts. Which bombed.
She's not a good actress.
Yeah,
I feel like her acting style is her. Like she's just pretending to be her in different forms.
No, I think her best work was in Euphoria.
I think she's decent.
Where she was acting like a
she's
pick-me?
decent when she plays herself.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. She's not acting.
She was good. I liked her in White Lotus.
She's not acting. She's just her.
I mean, she's the same girl in fucking Euphoria.
She has the same role in every movie.
What's his name?
She's a basic pick-me in every single movie.
Anyone But You.
I don't watch Glenn Powell movies, Brody.
Why not? You don't like him?
He don't seem like he gonna be... I ain't really seen him in anything I gave a fuck about, for real. He like what they call him, a plant to me right now.
He is. I mean, he's Tom Cruise is.
Nah, fuck no. Tom Cruise is that nigga. But anyway,
Oh Lord.
We'll go back to the.
Well, either way, yeah, I'm curious to see the output of this. I feel like we really covered everything. We were really gonna do more of a topic on the Republicans, but we talked about them too.
We got everything. This is done.
Hey, they coming. Y'all better secure y'all jobs the right way.
Mark
Get
my
away
words.
from that orange dude. Y'all want y'all jobs now. You know what
It's
I'm saying?
about to get wild.
I know it's some decent when y'all.
I'm just
fucked up.
very curious as to where we'll be by
The
next
time
month.
this airs.
In the same
Yeah,
spot.
true.
In the same spot.
This is airing next week. So, yeah, I'm very curious to see how this will all turn out. Hopefully the government doesn't stay shut down too long. But I think past this will be the first Black Friday where it's not truly Black Friday.
We ain't had a Black Friday in years.
Well,
For real.
yeah, true.
Black Friday not real no more.
Black Friday is supposed to be when the economy is in the black. It's good, right? The economy hasn't been good for years.
I want to know what you guys are thinking. Do you think it's going to stay shut down? Or do you think it's going to reopen? And then are you shopping for the holidays or are you participating in the blackout? Which I'll include a
I
link.
don't know. Folks might run up that Klarna.
So I'm going to include a link in the video. And
Klarna eating. AfterPay, Klarna? Y'all
That's
eating.
terrible.
Y'all tearing it up right now. I know y'all is. Y'all doing this. Y'all like.
So you can pay your rent with Affirm now.
Exactly. Yeah, I bet. Oh, shit.
They said you can separate it into 4 weekly payments.
Hey, you about to be able to pay for
That is
gas with a
crazy.
friend.
You know what I want to see? I want to see a bubble pop with all that. All
What?
these companies that are financing
They
people.
put them on their credit reports now.
I'm sure they do. But
Damn, for real?
Now they didn't before. Now they are.
Oh, it's over with.
Because so
Affirm,
many people weren't paying back.
Yeah, their loans go into their loans. They're just easy
But they
loans.
weren't doing it before.
Yeah,
So
and people thought because it wasn't doing that, they were like, yeah, when a credit collection agency call you, it's like, whatever.
there was a girl crying on the internet saying she didn't know Apple Pay was real money.
Yeah, I saw that.
What? So
I
she
saw
was just
that.
running it
I
up?
think that was
What the
fake.
fuck? She
I
thought it
was
was
like, there's
fake
no
money?
fucking way she thought Apple Pay was. There's no way.
And she's not I've seen a few videos like that.
I've seen that one though. I know exactly which one you're talking about. I was like, there's no fucking way you really thought that. You deserve it.
People are dumb. Like,
you
what the
deserve
fuck?
it.
But I was going to say, if you do want to shop, I'm going to include a link below that has Black-owned and women-owned businesses that you can support this year if you don't want to support big box retailers. I'm not buying anything. Everybody got their stuff.
It's fair.
Anything
Try
else you
again
got?
next
No?
year.
Y'all see it, like I said, y'all see it coming, man. Midterm elections are what, next year?
Yep.
Y'all go
It's
outside.
only been a year.
It hasn't been a year.
It's been a year yet. Yeah, well,
Still hasn't even been a year.
it's a year now.
It'll be a year in January.
It has not been a year.
Okay, yeah.
It hasn't even been a year.
You see what
and look
happened?
at how messed up
With
everything
I need
is.
everybody to turn up midterms. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like Senate seats.
I
House
think
Representative seats.
we'll see more turnouts. I think we will. I think so.
We need to show these folks, bro.
If this blue wave is any indication of people's ideologies now, I'm hoping that this wave continues of people actually getting out and voting because even the white people who voted for him is looking bad for y'all. The farmers still ain't got a bailout.
They don't deserve a bailout because where
True.
are all the people?
True.
Where are all the workers? I
True.
saw those strawberry fields with the molded strawberries. Y'all not slick.
Y'all
What
ain't bought
happened to
no
all
produce.
those
Oh,
people
God, I ain't bought no produce.
that wanted a job? All
Frozen.
those people.
Frozen.
They want to
I'm not playing
work.
with y'all around this time.
Their jobs are
That's
stolen.
the same thing, you know. It's just,
Is it?
It is.
I don't know, bro.
The
I feel like
produce,
frozen.
they bring it and they freeze it, and then
I bet I won't find no molded fucking strawberries in my frozen bags.
Oh, I mean, no.
No,
I'm talking
so
about fresh produce.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about with produce, the actual fields, because they've
Yeah.
gone unpicked.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to happen now is all of our stuff is going to get exported from all those places that we claim we're not doing.
Chile eating.
Guatemala, Peru,
Argentina, eating.
all that's coming over because we have to buy from other places because y'all lied and said people wanted these jobs and now ain't nobody working them.
And farmers,
now
y'all
you're-
voted
now
for
you're
that man.
fields.
Y'all voted for that man in there
Because
too.
you know what they thought? They thought
Hey,
black
I
people
ain't
was
finna
going to
take
do
that
it.
job.
No, they thought we were going to do it.
Yeah,
We surely ain't.
They
Black
thought
jobs.
we were gonna do it.
Black jobs.
And it was like, yeah, they were like, oh, that's not us. Because my thing is, why aren't your kids working? Why aren't
No.
your family working? Back in the day, what you guys were built off of would have been your family, your ancestors.
You know what's
picking.
going to happen with
Why
those
they not doing
jobs?
it?
They're kicking out the Hispanics just to bring in other immigrants. We're going to get more European immigrants again.
I don't even think we're gonna get
I
that.
don't think so.
What's gonna happen
so.
is you're gonna
Well,
lose your
European immigrants
land.
is out that bad, bro.
We're gonna see Ukrainians. We might see some Russians. We're gonna
They're
see.
not gonna go for that shit for that long. They're not that stupid now.
What's going to happen is they're about to lose their land because they're not going to be able to afford all these things. They can't afford the seeds. They can't afford the technology for the machines. They have nobody to work it. Clearly, if all their produce are molding because they can't get to it fast enough, nobody's working. So, if nobody's working, there's no income. No income, can't pay your mortgage. Can't pay your mortgage, you lose your land. So now the bank owns it, and now you have no farm. So now all our farmlands are bought up, and y'all have no property because you were racist.
Farmers, y'all know who to vote for now, don't y'all? Yeah, y'all do. Y'all do.
I think it's funny, though, because a lot of those farmers got their land not in a correct way. So start over with us. Welcome to the club.
I have a question for the audience. Do you guys think, and this is a little bit off topic, but it's a question that was asked to us before. I want to hear what you guys think. Do you guys think if black people got 40 acres and a mule when they were promised it, we would be in a different position economically?
Hell yeah.
And how large of a change do you think that would make?
Crazy. Crazy.
I'm curious to hear what y'all think. If y'all want to say something real quick.
They burned down all of our Black Wall Street, our everything. If black people have ever been able to do anything, it is make $1 into, what is it? Turn water into wine. Mm-hmm. We always make do and make the best. So yeah, we wouldn't be seeing this, I can tell you that, because they would have been like, dang, they prospering. Economic advancements, farm advancements, it wouldn't be the way that it's done now. Because it would have been so many years of fixing and we wouldn't be in the situation.
It's a hard dynamic. I feel like we would have. So you think about the Indians?
I think we would have got done like them because we talked about this.
But we were still able to amass decent communities at one
even
time.
Afterwards, yeah.
Without 40 acres and a mule.
How they got tricked out of their land, essentially. Yeah. All of this is their land.
We wouldn't have gotten tricked because this was after all that. This was after smallpox. Slavery was well after all that. We wouldn't have got tricked.
No, we were supposed to get it after slavery. Were we not?
Right, but what I'm saying is
what I'm saying is after slavery,
Black Wall Street,
a large amount of people who were uneducated.
Right.
Owning land. Without the knowledge of the business side of it, they know the manual physical labor, they can make anything grow. But they don't have the business side. They don't know how to make the contracts. They don't know how to do any of that.
I don't think it would have learned over.
I think we would be in a better position, but not immensely. I don't think we would be running America right now.
I wouldn't say running America, but I definitely don't think our agriculture would be suffering the way that it is.
No.
Yeah, agriculture would be fire.
Agriculture would be much better.
It'd be fire.
But my only argument was that I don't think it would be as good as people imagine it. Because people think if we got 40 acres and a mule, we'd all be millionaires. We all rolling around.
There would be.
Good. Like it would be the swap. Niggas rolling around in goddamn Bentleys and
it would be the swap of what white people are now. We would have old money. We would have Yellowstone. We would have second, third generation. We would have property. So I beg to differ. I think we would be more equal. It would be normal to see black people with money and private schools and private education.
We'd be a whole different class.
We would be
So you think there'd be more?
We would be equal to white people.
Upper class, more middle class.
We would be equal to white people.
We have way more middle class.
More middle class.
Way more middle class. Yeah.
I think we'd have way more upper class and middle class because you got to think we keep stuff used to keep things in the family. So a lot of our property, how you're saying we would have got messed up in business deals, I think it would have taken us longer to learn business, but I don't think we would have got messed up because we wouldn't have dealt with white people. So if you want us to sign something, we're not signing it.
No, we would have dealt with white people.
We would have had to.
But I'm saying not initially to get screwed out of your land. So I think we would be more business savvy than that. And
I think a large number of them would.
Oh yeah, a large number would definitely sell their shit. Because white people gonna come droves and be like, "Hey, we'll buy all of your shit right now," and they would be like,
because they're gonna be like,
a slave would be like, "Hell yeah, here," because they
would have came and been like, "Oh, I'm not like the ones who owned you. I'm here to help you. You don't know who to sell this to. Let me sell this."
But why would you be selling it? That's what I'm saying.
Not the land. The crops, the product.
I don't see it because it would still be segregated. You got to think, if they did it the way that they were going to, I think it would be more segregated in a sense of all the black land is over here and all the white land is over here. We have our flourishing society.
You think white people would have had land if they gave all the black people
They
land?
wouldn't have given it all to us.
That's what I'm saying though. If we actually got it like we were supposed to. 40 acres is a lot of land.
It's a lot of land.
And for as many black people that were slaves, if you gave all those black people land, some people would have got good land, some people would have got bad land, but everybody would have had to get land. And white people would have been kind of miffed. You know, they're going to have to find a way, like, how do I get all my land back? Mm-hmm. Let me tell him. That's how sharecropping came about.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I just think about the movie that Martin Scorsese?
Yeah, you talking about
the Flowers of the Bloodless Moon or Blood Moon or whatever, how they did the natives in that movie. The natives had rich land, like land with a lot of resources. But the natives didn't know what to do with it. So the white people came in and said, hey, we'll work this land for you. Well, we'll not work this land. We'll pay you, and you give us the stuff off of this land, and you don't got to do anything. We'll just give you as much money as possible. You can, and then they built like liquor stores and all kinds of stuff for them to indulge in, casinos, so they can spend all that money that the white people were giving them, so they can get the money back, put them into a system of needing to get money in order to get out of the hole, and then turn them into their workers. It was really messed up.
I mean, let's look at black communities. I mean, it's the same shit.
I'm gonna keep my comments to myself.
Well, that's it for this episode, y'all. We thank y'all for tuning in. Next episode will be on the lighter, I guess. Well, I don't know. Thanksgiving is kind of a messed up holiday if we're really talking about it. We're gonna call that our Thanksgiving adjacent holiday. Yeah, y'all tune in for that. And until next time, peace.
Bye.